What is up, Waffle Gang? My name is Mark, and today we're covering some r/relationships. If you'd like to skip the initial waffle, timestamps are in the description and along the timeline below, but if you are new here, please consider hitting that like, that subscribe, and maybe that notification bell too. A huge thank you to each and every one of you for coming here daily to support this channel, to get involved, to listen to some stories, and comment below. I love reading them, although I don't get all the time to reply to each and every one of them, but I do read them all, I promise you of that. And with that being said, let's crack on with today's stories. Much love, guys. Our first story comes from a throwaway account. My 25 female family disowned me when they found out I was pregnant, but now my sister, 27 female, has reached out to me after finding out I recently got engaged. My family are very religious, so when they found out I was pregnant my final year of college, they disowned me and haven't spoken to me since. I was lucky I had my boyfriend and his family because they helped me make sure I could finish studying, and they were the best emotional support I could ask for after I had a miscarriage. My boyfriend proposed to me a week ago. Yesterday, my sister reached out to me on Facebook. She said she wanted to congratulate me on my engagement and couldn't believe me and my fiance are still together. She asked me how my baby was and if it was a boy or a girl. She also asked me to send her pictures because she wanted to see what her niece-nephew looked like. She said our parents missed me and wanted to meet up to clear the air. She also apologised for telling them I was pregnant when I told her in confidence. I haven't replied and I really don't know what to say. I've been a mess since reading her messages. I could really use some advice right now on what to do next. When we get these kind of stories, there's always a part of me that wants to say, they abandoned you. They used religion as an excuse to get rid of you. And, you was at a young age, and being disowned like that must absolutely tear you to pieces. For someone to do that, for your own family to do that. But then there's another side of me that says, maybe some good could come out of this in the end. Maybe you could reconcile with your family. Keep them at the end of a stick, a long stick. But, there's a chance that they, could rebuild some bridges. But only if they apologise genuinely. They come up to you and they say they're sorry for what they did and explain the reasons why. And why are they letting you back in their life now? That would be the only reason I would move forward with them. And is it only because the engagement, now you're getting married, that they want back in your life? Be interesting to know, but let's have a look at some of the comments to see what they say. Ruthless Bunny says, is your life better or worse with your family out of it? Personally, people who could abandon you when you need help the most aren't really your family, especially if they do it in the name of religion. I might acknowledge your sister's message by saying, I'm doing well and extremely fortunate in my choice of family. I'm surrounded by people who truly love me. I think it's best where we left it. I'm in a much better place now and I prefer not to be vulnerable to people who could so easily betray me and cast me aside. Please respect my decision and don't contact me again. I am incredibly petty and honestly, these people don't deserve to share your happiness. That's some very good points there too. Nika says, do you want them in your life? They use religion as an excuse to not support at a time you needed your family the most. And why does your sister know you're engaged, but not that you miscarried? She obviously keeping track of you somehow through either social media or a friend. I would do a little social media research before I contacted them. What's happened since you were kicked out? Can you reach out to anyone who will give you some information on what's going on with the dynamics of your parents and sister? How were your parents before? Were they loving and supportive or controlling and smothering? This time away from your family, has it been a wonderful growing time or have you missed them? You have a unique opportunity in that your family disowned you and you got your freedom. And you got a wonderful supportive family and a fiance in exchange. And then Decent Ad says, and quotes, she said she wanted to congratulate me on my engagement and couldn't believe me and my fiance are still together. And then says, nice. She started off with an insult. And then quotes again saying, she said our parents missed me and wanted to meet up to clear the air. And then says, but not apologise. More likely, they'd graciously allow you to apologise to them. I think there's a high probability here that they don't know you miscarried, so their minds, if you're married, it's all good. They can consider your child a real grandchild. If they learned about the miscarriage, they might think it was a punishment from their God for your sins or some claptrap. At any rate, I don't actually see them apologising. They had how long to reach out to you and talk to you on their own, but they chose not to. Personally, I wouldn't see them. I'd write your sister a polite note acknowledging receipt of her message. Thank you for the congratulations. You feel very fortunate to be surrounded by loved ones. Tell her consider the air cleared, and for your parents not to worry, you've let go. Then sign off. But I'm bitter and would want to be deliberately obtuse and purposely misunderstand. The important thing is, you don't owe them forgiveness or closure. You're not responsible for making them feel better about how they treated you. You're only responsible for your own healing and moving past their toxicity. And you know, that comment alone has changed my mind, and I don't think I would see them. I think I'd do exactly what this person said and write a polite receipt saying that you received the message and you're moving on with your life, and I hope they do the same. So yeah, wow, it's changed my mind, that one. But what do you guys think OP should do in this situation? Do you think they should follow the comments and do what they say, or would you go down a different route? Let me know in the comments below. And our next story is from Gertie. New boyfriend 22 male, very touchy and doesn't understand when I'm 22 female, seriously telling him no. My new boyfriend is really great. He is super caring and thoughtful and respectful of me. Please don't read this and think, ugh, another shitty boyfriend, because he is not that kind of guy you think he is from just reading this one issue. So we play wrestle and stuff, which is fun, and even when I say no or stop through the laughter, he obviously doesn't because I'm just joking around. But sometimes when he's being really touchy or cuddly or initiates sex and I say no, he also doesn't get it. I mean, he won't force me to do anything, but he will just keep trying even after I say no or push him away. It's annoying because I tell him 10 times and it isn't until I actually have to get a bit mad before he gets it. I have sensory issues because of my level 1 mild autism, and it's actually extremely overwhelming for me, but I try to keep it in because I don't want to offend him. I've told him I have sensory issues and that is overwhelming me, but I really don't think he understands because I don't react the way I feel. Then the other day he started touching me and I tried to get off and say stop and no, but it didn't work. Unfortunately, a symptom of mild autism when we're overwhelmed is disassociation. I went into a disassociation episode and couldn't get out of it for an hour. It was horrible. Everything looked faked. I felt dizzy. I felt like I was in a video game. Nothing felt real to touch. I was extremely anxious. He was super helpful though and didn't touch me at all and was just talking me through it. I was embarrassed, but he kept just saying, he's here for me and not to worry. But I really just don't think he understood that he caused it. I couldn't speak, it was such a bad episode. I wish I wasn't like this, but I am. I also feel really bad to tell him that because he was just showing my affection. I just don't think he understands. Wow, and that was sort of a great explanation in the middle there. I've never read it like that before about disassociation and the way it felt like it was in a video game, not real to touch and extremely anxious and all that kind of thing. I've never heard of it that way, and I think it's a great way to explain it in some ways. But there was also an edit to this, which we'll read after the comments. So Idly Browsing says, look, a lot of people are nice when they're not doing shitty things. It doesn't mean their actions are less shitty, and it doesn't mean they can use their niceness as an excuse to continue doing shitty things. Bottom line, your boyfriend is not as nice as you think if he can't take no for an answer. It's your body, your rules. So have a serious conversation time. Tell him he needs to respect your boundaries. When you tell him no and he doesn't stop the first time, you leave. Either leave his house or tell him to go home. Stick to it. He should learn after the first couple of times. If not, he's choosing to distress you and you absolutely should dump him for being a piece of shit. Next comment is Quota of Tears. How do you feel about establishing a safe word? I think it would be really helpful for you both. If it were me, I'd say something like, I get that sometimes it can be difficult to determine whether I'm joking or serious about wanting you to stop touching me, and even though I like playing around, it's extremely important for us to have that trust if it gets to be too much. I can say this word and you'll stop. If he truly respects you and wants you to feel safe around him, which I don't doubt he does, I see no reason he wouldn't go along with it. If not, then I see no reason why you should stay with him. Best of luck. Your Ra Resource says, this can be summarized quickly into, my boyfriend is really great, except when I revoke consent and he continues doing what I don't want him to. Is he on the spectrum as well? Either way, have a conversation now, not in the moment, about all of this. How if you said no, you need to immediately stop. If he doesn't immediately stop and or tries again, you need to get out of this relationship. It means he's not as great as you think he is. Good luck. An update post says, I decided to have a very frank conversation with him about it. He took it very well and was very apologetic. I just told him that I really need him to listen when I say no, and that he should be able to tell the difference between when I'm laughing and when we're joking around, and when I'm saying it very seriously and pulling away. I also said when it comes to sex, there's no way I would say no, and it means something else. Only when we play wrestle and stuff. He agreed. Then later in the night, we were just making out and stuff, and he was trying to have sex, but I said no. He tried like 5 other times, and I kept saying no, and was pretty upset he didn't get it. I said it in complete seriousness, but I did go back to kiss him a few more times, because I was okay with that. I told him my stomach hurt, which it did, and I was just too tired to enjoy that right now, but kissing is fine. I pulled away to get up, and he pulled me back, and put his hands down my pants, so I just disassociated instantly. I pulled his hand out and moved away, and just waited for it to pass. I couldn't really speak to him about it right then, because I was disassociated. The next morning, I brought it up right away and basically said that was messed up, and he started getting really ashamed and said he was just trying to get me horny and he didn't realise what I meant. I offered the suggestion of a safe word, but he said he doesn't want to do that. I said it would make me feel more comfortable, that I'm not miscommunicating, and he said he probably wouldn't have got it last night even if I used one. So I said then it's over, because that would be assault. He completely changed his mind. He's been really apologetic all day and promising it'll never happen again. He said he doesn't want to even make me feel like that again, and just feeling super bad about it. He literally has been apologising non-stop, saying he finally gets it. He bought me my favourite meal as an apology. So I decided to wait on it and see if anything else happens. He promises he gets it now, so I give it one more shot. Later on, we're getting into it and having sex, not coerced, and he says, "Don't ever deny me this pussy again, and this is my pussy and stuff." I didn't say anything, so he repeated it and was like, "Will you stop me again then?" And I'm like, "Sometimes, yeah, if I feel like it." And he's like, "No, you won't." Lol. I don't know if he was trying to be hot, but yeah, I think that's enough red flags for me. Wow. I know people get in the moment, you know, but he's saying these things are going through his head that, you know, he's liking being in control. He's liking that forcefulness, I think, which, yeah, like you say, is massive red flags. But I read a couple comments below and saying that her friends are saying that she should give him another chance rather than break up with him. And she's actually considering it. I'm like, oh, come on, man. He'd done exactly the same thing before, which he told you he wasn't going to do, and then started apologising again. How long till he sees red when he's being denied? Oof, that's a scary thought, that is. What would you guys do in this situation if you was in this situation? I know it's tough if you're in an abusive relationship and things, but from the outside, what would you do? Would you just dump him right away? Would you get him to seek help? Or would you be like, nah, fuck this, I'm out? Let me know in the comments below. And our next story is from Throwaway Accounts. I, 36 male, think I need to leave my wife, 35 female, of 10 years for infidelity that happened before we got engaged. Me and my wife have been together since we were 17. We got married at 26 and had our twins at 30. When we were 21, my wife cheated on me with another man. I found out from a mutual friend of me and the guy. I decided to forgive her and I would get over it. Me and her worked to get over it, and I thought I was. I thought the feeling of dread for the next shoe to drop were normal. Even I proposed, I thought that still thinking about what the other man had, that I didn't drew her in. I couldn't forget completely, and I've come to realise I haven't forgiven her. I still on some level resent her, and she can feel it. She tells me that sometimes I'm distant during sex. That's because in my mind I have a million questions going through. Did she love him? Is she thinking of him? Was he bigger or better than me? Who does she enjoy more? And a bunch of other horrible things I can't get out of my head. I even worried that she'd do it again and shatter our family. I told her that I wasn't sure if I could be happy with her, and she broke. I've never seen her so destroyed. She apologised profusely, and she always does in these situations. She begged me to be with her. She said she couldn't ever love someone the way she loves me. I don't want to deprive my daughters of their father or their mother. They deserve a stable household, and that's what's been keeping me from pulling the trigger on this. I'm not sure what's best for them, and I don't know what to do anymore. I'm always lost and confused nowadays. You know, we're going to have to go down the very Reddit route of this one, and, you know, therapy, I think, is only going to be key here. Yet all those years thinking that and worrying in the back of your head, man, that would drive anyone mad. And you need these questions. If you want to keep this relationship going, you need to have these questions answered. You need to go into a counselling setting where you can talk and ask these questions openly. That's the only way you're going to solve this. Sitting there, you're going to ruin your family either way if you carry on down this route. And I say you, not in a way to attack the guy, but, you know, if he's thinking these things, if he's resenting her still, it's going to break the relationship up at some point, right? So I personally think, you know, couples counselling is going to be the only way to go to get these questions answered. I think that's the only way forward, unless you completely split up, which, you know, that's your choice in the end. But let's have a look at the comments below to see what they say. Thriller the Gorilla says, this is what happens when you don't deal with the trauma of infidelity and just sweep it under the rug. You've got to get a hold of the tools to help you heal from a long ago trauma. And it's going to take even more effort now you let it fester for a decade and a half. Divorcing and a cure it, bro, is not a magic pill. You will continue to hurt until you address it head on, and you need professional help to do that. I suggest holding off on making decisions about your marriage until you get into counselling to deal with this. John MPM says, get therapy. After 14 years, it seems excessive to think she still feels for him. Don't ruin it. JK Phantom says, yeah, counselling sounds like it would be for the best, whatever you decide. Brash Candicoot says, great name, okay, I do feel sorry for you in this situation, however I'm not sure if her infidelity that many years ago is the actual reason you're looking to leave her. It almost feels like you're looking for a reason, and that's the most obvious one you can use without putting any blame on yourself. Maybe it's just me, but I can't comprehend how you could be okay enough with this for so many years. Okay, enough to marry her and have kids, but now it's such a big issue again. If it is truly, then perhaps see a therapist. Maybe you're trying to kid yourself into thinking it's that and not other, more recent issues because it's easier and leaves you with no blame in the situation. If I'm wrong, then I'm very sorry and don't want to cause offence. I just think it seems a little odd. And Savage Inc. Studios, hey Savage, fancy meeting you here. See a therapist. If you married her after you found out you committed to her after that information, people do change. It's not normal to hang on to something like that for so long. Now, what do you guys think in this situation? How do you think OP should handle it? Is therapy the right way forward, or should he just split up and, be done with it? Let me know in the comments below. And our next story is from a throwaway account. My best friend has a crush on my husband. I've been friends with my best friend, both female 24, since high school. We were long distance friends for a long time after. So she's only recently gotten to meet my husband. She's back in town riding out the pandemic since it hasn't really hit where we are. I noticed he'd avoid her when she came over. I figured he just didn't like her much. The other day I tried to get him to spend some time with us, but I noticed quickly he was anxious to leave and she was being weird. I asked her jokingly if there's anything I should know, and she joked back that she was in love with him. I laughed, made a joke about it being ridiculous, and she said it's not that ridiculous and admitted she had a bit of a crush on him. She was adamant that he didn't know and nothing had or ever will happen. I wasn't bothered that she had a little crush on him, but I was annoyed that she hadn't told me. I brought it up to him and figured out that he already knew. He said he had a feeling but didn't want to tell me because if he was wrong, it could have created a rift in my friendship for no reason. He also said he could tell I enjoyed having her back around and thought if he wasn't interested in her and I didn't know she was into him, then no harm, no foul. Just like I was with her, I was annoyed with him for not having said something. I'm pretty bad about recognising when something is a red flag. My only other relationship ended when he got my other friend pregnant. So I know I'm also paranoid even when I have no reason to be. I struggle with over and underreacting, so my question is, are there red flags I'm missing here? I want to leave it alone, but I keep thinking, what if? Do I leave it alone or probe a little more? What do I even ask if I probe more? Now, putting myself in that position, saying I was the husband and the wife was there and a friend came over and fancied me or whatever, I think I would feel like awkward as well if I didn't truly know that she fancied me. And I don't think I would be able to bring it up right away anyway without confirmation, because you don't want to break a friendship up over that, right? Over just guessing that someone might fancy you. So I can totally get where the husband might feel really awkward in the situation and just try and take himself out of it and avoid it completely. In my opinion, he did what was best in that situation for him and for his wife and their friendship. But then the friend coming out and just blatantly admitting, yeah, I fancy him, but nothing will happen. God, if I was in the wife's position, then I think I'd be like, hold on a sec, what's going on here? And what is she doing? What is the friend doing to be so obvious that the husband has recognized this? What is she actually implying? Is she touching him? Is she flirting with him openly? Because that's just not right. You don't do that to your best friends. Wow. Let's have a look at the comments below to see what they say. Eliza says, I feel your husband was trying to not ruin your friendship and good on him for trying to avoid her, but yes, definitely don't take her to your house anymore. She had the big balls to tell you she was crushing on your husband, disregarding entirely how you might feel. She seems very shady, and the fact that your husband picked up on it must be because of something she said/was doing. I'd ask him what exactly made him get the vibe she was into him, and then you'll see if your friend tried to cross a line. The Girthquake says, husband handled it like an ace, don't worry about him. Your friend may not be the devil Reddit is making her out to be either, but it is a little concerning that at 24 she isn't capable of, or more likely willing to, immediately swallow the little butterflies in a situation like this before they grow to the point of making themselves evident. Darlene Zell says, by the way, just so you can understand where I'm coming from, my mum was in your exact situation 20 years ago with a friend she had since she was 9, and she decided to be nice and keep that friend. Till she came home one day and saw my dad throwing her naked best friend out of the living room. Apparently, she'd been waiting there nude to seduce him. If my dad wasn't loyal, it wouldn't have been a story we can laugh about now. They wouldn't even be together now. Your husband is also loyal, but don't give room for certain situations. Sis, please don't risk your marriage. Remove the weeds infesting your garden before they spread. And the Indigo says, I would keep her away, to be honest. Crushing on someone's husband is never appropriate. He didn't do nothing wrong. South Custle says, your poor husband. He's been suffering agonies wondering if he should say something about your selfish friend and risk hurting your friendship. For him to be that uncomfortable, she must have been way out of line. I wonder if she didn't actually come onto him and is lying about it. Do not doubt your hubby. He is your champ here. Your friend is the one in the wrong, and if she can't grow up and learn some proper boundaries, I would unfriend her. She shouldn't be allowed to come between you and your husband and cause any lack of trust. Now, what would you do in this situation? If you was OP and, your husband was acting shady and then you heard this news, how would you feel? How would you react? What would you do if you was the husband? Let me know in the comments below. Once again, guys, I hope you did enjoy this relationship stories. I love a relationship story once in a while. I always like the real life situations. I'm a very nosy person. Let me know in the comments below what you think. And it's an absolute pleasure to have you guys around, commenting below and reading what you think about these stories. I will see you guys in the next one, hopefully, and much love to you. Goodbye.